Okay, good morning, everyone. Before I start, I'd like to thank all my colleagues across the 5 colleges who participated in this research and all the students and all the mentors involved. So what we were looking at is how using mass mentors, would improve the students' engagement, confidence, and attainment. In the past, we just looked at motivation only, but this year we moved that onto confidence and attainment. These are the names of the colleges involved. And if I go on to my next slide, so these were the objectives. To design the program, investigate what aspects have the most positive impact, and whether it has an improvement in their confidence in maths or not, and to share the results, which is what we're doing today and what I will do in my final report. There were 76 students across 4 colleges participated in this research, and these are the results of how effective the mentoring programs. Mentoring does have a positive impact on students' motivation, engagement, attendance, and attainment. How much positive? In terms of attendance, it was difficult to measure across 4 sites, but students being mentored overall had attendance 84% in an environment where the average attendance is typically 77%. So there is a measurable difference, but you will have to judge for yourself whether this is high or low. Attainment, on average, each student went up half a grade, but in the real raw data showed half the students went up 1 grade who were being mentored, while half the students didn't go up a grade. But the average of that was 0.5. Confidence, we designed a confidence scale, which I will put in one of the appendices in my report, which most students went from a confidence level of 2.2 out of 5 to a 3 out of 5. So there is a 0.8 out of 5 improvement in the student confidence who is being mentored. This was rated by their teachers. And in interviews, motivation had a very big impact. So the motivation level improved a great deal, more than the half-point improvements that we've seen in some of the other measures and the 1-point improvement in the other measures. When we asked students what was the most important thing for them, they said that getting a grade 4 is the most important thing. It's not so much improving their maths. They ranked those a bit lower, but getting a grade 4 was their main objective. And they said that anything that helps them towards achieving that objective would motivate. Let's now look at the next slide. Now, from talking to students, most students, the gist was the same, even though the stories were very different. This was their situation before being mentored. This was in yellow, we then move on to their perception of what mentoring will do. And then what happened, what they found the mentoring to be like, and how they felt at the end, the impact. And this is this is a single student journey. This is another student's journey. I'll leave you to have a quick glance and read through what's happening across each stage. So typically, a student from the beginning has bad history with maths, didn't understand some of it, never really got a grip on it. Their teachers never explained well. The perception, there is a bit of negativity, but how they perceive it will turn positive. So my teacher can explain things in a different way, which suggests maybe, they're looking forward to it. And then how they've seen that manifest during the mentoring and how they felt at the end. And all our students went through that journey, every single one that was being mentored. When you question them at the end, they go through the whole journey. In fairness, we only asked students who completed the mentoring program. So obviously they're the ones who found it most useful and stayed. But this is their journey. Here is another 3 students. There were obviously many, but these are the 5 I will highlight. Again, so things came out of there as well that surprised me a little. For example, you've got students saying, I can ask the mentor to skip things I already know, while I wouldn't ask that to a teacher. So if a teacher is explaining something to a student would feel too shy to say to the teacher, you know what, I know this bit, can you explain this bit instead? And with the mentors, they feel a lot more comfortable to do that. Things like not feeling like they're holding up the class because the mentor is helping them separately. And at the end, the impact was the biggest factor, the most important measure. You've got students saying it improves my confidence. You've got students saying I'm more encouraged to try questions on my own. Students saying mentors use simple language and I can ask him to skip what I know. So there is a lot of useful measures of impact there. If you move on to the next slide. Now, we took two different approaches to the mentoring because of organizational reasons. One approach is for them to attend an additional session with an adult mentor outside, a math specialist, but not a teacher, outside the classroom. So this is an additional lesson to their own lessons. Another way is to have math A-level students come into the classroom and mentor maybe 4 or 5 students, concentrate on them while they are actually in one of their lessons, so they don't have to attend an extra lesson. There are advantages and disadvantages. Obviously, if you have an adult mentor, that can be expensive. He's another member of staff. Students might not be willing to attend an additional math lesson, so they're happy. While an advantage is once you've got a member of staff and you're paying them, they're going to stay for the whole year. So the students being mentored will have continuity. And if it's outside of class, the mentor can talk about any topic that the student needs help with. It doesn't have to be the topic that's being presented by the teacher in that lesson that day. So it doesn't have to be so restricted. Having A-level math students mentor GCSE students in the classroom has advantages. The student of a similar age can speak simple languages. We've talked about skipping parts, which they wouldn't ask a teacher. Student gets help in a lesson that they attend anyway. They don't have to go to an additional lesson. And A-level math students are cheap. We paid ours £8 per session. If you think about being the mathematician, £8 per session, 20 weeks a year, maybe 5 or 6 mentors, doesn't even reach £800. It's the kind of money a principal might say yes to, because it's not serious money. I know different colleges have different budgets. Negative thing, student mentors can withdraw. They're teenagers after all. They might decide they're bored with it, and then you have to recruit someone else to have continuity for the student. In the lessons, there is constant interruption when the teacher wants to speak to the whole class. Even if the teacher doesn't mind that the mentor carries on speaking, it's still not right. It's not ideal. It was difficult to measure which one is better because the students were very positive in both cases. All students were positive, whether they had a student mentor in the lesson or outside. Students were very positive about the mentoring. And I'll come back to my conclusions and finding, which I displayed earlier. If you're interested in cold, hard, raw results, mentoring works best for a student who will get close to a grade 4, but will not get a grade 4 on their own. So the mentoring help nudge them that half a grade, so from 3.5 to 4.5 kind of thing. If you're interested in really having a positive experience for the student and motivating them and improving their maths, I think it's suitable for all students, no matter what grade they are on. They will still benefit and they will still enjoy maths. And teachers also notice that they speak out more in class. So the students who are being mentored suddenly have an opinion and suddenly want to, and they're not so afraid of making mistakes. And this is one of the comments that really touched me in one of these. A student now says, if I make a mistake, I'm determined there. So you've got a student here saying, if I make mistakes, but now every time I make a mistake, I will learn from it. So you've got a GCSE retake student who at the beginning didn't take math seriously and felt pressured, now saying it's okay to make mistakes. I'll just learn what I did wrong and learn from the mistakes. So I think it does have a positive impact on the students. But if you're interested in cold hard results, it has to be a student who will get like on track for a grade 3.5, and with that boost will make a difference. And that's it.